Hajar, I kind of want to start by asking you some very basic questions.
Okay.
What is cancer? What causes it? How does it work?
Hmm. Okay, well, cancer is a disease. Well, I hear people say it's like a bunch of diseases, not just one. And it's about tumors and mutations. All right, help me out here.
They're hard questions, aren't they? And
Yeah.
it's kind of weird how hard these questions are because cancer is so ubiquitous. It's everywhere. I I think every single person in this country has lost a family member or a
Mm.
friend to cancer. And so you'd think we'd all know a lot about it, this thing that's so present in our lives. But most of us don't really know much about it at all.
Yeah, it's like a mystery or something.
And so this is the first episode of a brand new podcast series called Smarter Than Cancer. My name is David Hoffman.
And I'm Hajar Aldas and David, neither one of us are oncologists.
No, the furthest thing from it. We are audio storytellers. And we were challenged by the amazing people here at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center in Buffalo, New York, to create a show that would help demystify this incredibly complicated disease.
And we're hoping that this show is for the benefit of people who are facing a diagnosis or people who have a friend or a family member with cancer, or just honestly anyone who wants to be educated about this disease and about the science behind it.
And to do that, we've had incredible access to the community here at Roswell Park, which is one of the very best cancer centers in the world. We've had the opportunity to interview some really amazing researchers, clinicians, administrators, support staff, and talk to them about every aspect of how they work to help people.
And we're going to use these conversations to create episodes about science and about health and about survivorship and honestly any other topic we can think of.
But where to start? It's my turn first, and I thought we'd better start at the very beginning.
It's a very good place to start.
With that most fundamental question: what is cancer? Here's Dr. Michael Wong, physician-in-chief here at Roswell Park.
Fundamentally, cancer is a situation in which the cells that belong in one part of the body lose all respect for each other. They grow autonomously and they can go to other places unfeathered, uncontrolled, unrestricted. And in physiologic terms, it really means invasion. We are put together with systems, with organs. So the kidney does a job, the heart has a job, the lungs have a job, everything has a job. And when you throw a monkey wrench in it by putting cells in it that don't belong, that don't behave, that don't do any job whatsoever except to mess up the system, it's a sabotage of the intricate balance of everything. So you get dysfunction.
So it's the fundamental thing that's happening is a part of your body traveling to somewhere where it shouldn't be.
Correct. And then growing.
This growth has to do with the fundamental nature of our cells. To understand it, we really need to get into the weeds a bit about cells and how they work. We're all made of cells, which are tiny little pouches, sort of biological stuff. When we're first conceived, we're just one cell, a single microscopic cell in our mother's belly. But that cell has the power to reproduce itself by dividing. One cell becoming two, two becoming four, four becoming eight, and so on. At first, these cells are all the same. They're called stem cells. But then, as they continue to divide, they also start to differentiate, becoming different kinds of cells: bone cells, muscle cells, blood cells, and so on. By the time you're born, these have divided and differentiated again and again and again and made themselves into all different kinds of cells, all doing different jobs all around your body. And all throughout your life, your cells keep dividing and making new cells whenever you need them to. This is how you grow, and also how you repair things when they break down. When you cut yourself, for instance, the skin cells around that cut start dividing and making new skin cells to close the seam. It's how you heal. All your organs are making little repairs like this all the time. Old cells stop functioning properly, and they die off and they're replaced by new ones. Cancer is what happens when some cells that don't need to reproduce start reproducing anyway. They're not repairing anything, they're not growing something that needs to grow, they're just growing for the sake of it, and continuing until that replication gets out of control. Here's Dr. Renier Brentjens, chair of Roswell Park's Department of Medicine.
In your body, cells normally they proliferate and they divide, and then they're supposed to die off. That's what happens normally. And when that paradigm gets screwed up, so the cells don't die off or they proliferate too fast, that is what we call cancer. Those are cancer cells. They don't die off like they're supposed to, and they continue to divide, and that's why they form tumors.
Why does that happen?
Usually it's, well, for a wide variety of reasons, but usually it's because the instruction manual that the cell has in the nucleus, so the genes in that cell become damaged and you get mutations, and those mutations is what leads to the cells not dying normally or proliferating really fast.
That instruction manual he mentions is contained in the nucleus, or center section of your cells. That's the part that controls how and when cells reproduce. And so every nucleus contains sort of a recipe for making new cells. These instructions are coded on long strands of stuff called DNA. They're complex instructions. So the nucleus of every cell is absolutely packed with this stuff. This is Dr. Joyce Ohm, Roswell Park's chair of cancer genetics and genomics.
The DNA in every cell in your body, we describe it as, is actually about 6 feet long, and it has to package into this teeny, 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 tiny cell in your body. Every cell in your body has
6 feet of DNA.
6 feet of DNA in it.
Wow.
Kind of amazing, right?
And you have trillions of cells in your body or billions?
Trillions.
Wow, it's a lot.
That's a lot of DNA.
Some of the DNA in every nucleus is organized into units called genes, which in turn are organized into larger units called chromosomes. This whole system is called our genome. This organization is important because the genome in each of your cells is exactly the same. They all contain the instructions to make themselves into any kind of cell in your body. But based on how they are organized, they use this same instruction manual to make themselves into very different things.
Think about it as like packaging. So we talked about that DNA being 6 feet long. It's got to get packed into the cell. And so your cells package it in a way that some genes are more accessible than others. So a muscle cell can turn off all the genes that are important for a neuron in your brain. You're not going to need those anymore, so they pack them away. And vice versa. Your neurons can pack away all the genes the retina in your eye is going to need. You don't need those genes anymore, so they pack them away. And so different cell types keep different genes accessible.
This involves another biological system in each of your cells called the epigenome.
If you think about genetics or your genome as all the DNA in your body, and that's kind of the hardware that runs your cells, the epigenome is the software that runs your cells. It's the computer program that tells the genome what to do.
Okay, wait, I just want to make sure I understand this.
Awesome. Yes, please.
Okay, so we have all of this DNA in each of our cells.
Right. Tons of it.
And it's organized into units called genes.
Yes. Actually, I learned that quite a lot of your DNA is actually not organized into genes. It's doing other stuff, but that's not a rabbit hole we need to go down right now.
Okay, right. But a part of that DNA is organized into genes. And then those genes are then organized into our chromosomes.
Right.
And then that's all folded and packaged away in different ways and in different kind of cells. And then when you make a new cell, that cell knows what kind of cell it's going to be because it uses this different system of biological stuff inside called the epigenome.
Right. And so a cell becomes a different kind of cell by doing that packaging. Basically, like an eye cell has exactly the same DNA as a liver cell, but it's packaged up in a different order inside the nucleus.
Wow, that's fascinating, but also very complex.
It is, but bear with me, we're almost there. We heard another really important term a little while ago, and that's mutation. Sometimes, in the process of copying and packaging that genome trillions of times, a mistake happens. There's an error in the process that causes a change in the DNA or how it's packaged. Either a new piece somewhere, or a piece missing, or a piece moved to a place it doesn't belong. This is called a mutation.
And listen, this happens in your body all the time. It's happening in my body right now, and our bodies are amazing at fixing it. So it happens all the time. We fix it, go on about our days, and can repair most of the damage that anything will do to your body. But sometimes it doesn't get fixed.
And sometimes that's actually not a bad thing. Sometimes mutation can make your cell work better than it did before, making your organs work more efficiently or in a way that is better adapted to a new environment. Or it might change something that doesn't really affect you one way or another, like having blue eyes instead of brown eyes. When this happens, we tend to hang on to that change and pass it on to our kids. That's what evolution is.
Our bodies are built to be flexible. We are mutatable organisms, which means that fundamentally we were built to allow for mutations to happen. Some of these mutations accumulate. And remember, if you don't fix a mutation before that DNA gets replicated, for instance, cell growth, right? One cell becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. At every one of those division steps, DNA is replicated. And if the mutation doesn't get fixed before replication, it gets basically ingrained into that next DNA. The good mutations, give us capabilities and new things that happen. So I think we fundamentally are organisms that allow for mutations.
Some of these mutations are not positive, though.
If they happen in the wrong genes or the wrong areas that are important for controlling how a cell divides or responds to its environment, then that's when we have problems.
It's in particular genes, and there's a wide array of these, where these mutations can cause this problem, and the cell just starts going crazy and dividing over and over and over again.
That's cancer. A mutation in the DNA of one of your cells that is causing that cell to reproduce itself in a way that's harmful to the cells around it.
Cancer we talk about it as a genetic disease. So you're not going to find any tumors that don't have genetic changes.
The question is, why? How does that happen? Well, there's a clue here. Cancer is by far a disease of older people. And it could well be over time, as we live on this earth, we accumulate mutations in our DNA just from the simple act of living. Now, we do have DNA repair mechanisms. That's true, 100% true. But, it's always a bit of a race between DNA mutations and DNA repair. Right. And we believe that as time goes on, as we age, as we get older, mutations accumulate to the point where sometimes you have I call it the statistical bad luck of having a bunch of mutations, which then trigger autonomous cell growth and the ability to metastasize.
A lot of things have to go wrong to get to cancer. The cells have to fail to repair that DNA, and so they have to actually fail in that area. And then actually, your cells are good at recognizing when something's wrong, and usually a cell will say, hey, I'm going to check out, I'm done, I'm not doing my job anymore, and it'll go through a process called apoptosis or programmed cell death. And so that has to go wrong too. And so there's a lot of things that actually have to happen in a cell before it will actually become cancerous.
What causes those changes?
A lot of different things. So some of it is inherited. So we all know people who have had, we talk about it as bad luck, but you'll know somebody who has a family history of cancer. So we know families where you have women who have breast cancer that's passed down in families. And so some of us have genetic changes that can be passed down from parent to offspring. Some of it's going to be environmental. We know things like the things we're exposed to in our daily lives. So food, smoking, environmental toxins, different chemicals in our environment, all of those things can cause mutations in our DNA. Skin cancer, so sun can cause mutations in our skin. And some of it is just plain bad luck. And in reality, for any individual, it's going to probably be a combination of all three, and we really don't completely understand that combination.
This really isn't anything like other diseases. Most of the time when we get sick, it's because something bad, a bacteria, a virus, a poison, whatever, has attacked us from outside. Cancer's different. This is part of us, a piece of one of our own organs, growing too much and moving into places it shouldn't be.
It's not an infection. It's not something else that's invading our body. It's our own cells that have just really gotten screwed up. And we have to try and fix them in a way that doesn't harm the rest of our cells, which is why it's so hard to treat.
This is why medical treatments for cancer, things like chemotherapy, often have so many side effects. You're not attacking an invader, you're attacking yourself, just part of yourself that isn't behaving. In a way, cancer is sort of an anti-disease. The cancer cells aren't unhealthy, they're thriving. But in doing that, they're being selfish, prioritizing their own desire to grow over the good of the rest of you.
So I don't know. Do you have kids?
2, yeah.
2 kids. How old are they?
12 and 7.
12 and 7. So if you were going on vacation and you asked your 7-year-old to pack for the trip, what do you think would end up in that suitcase?
We just did this the other day.
All right. So
She had 3 bathing suits, 5 stuffed animals, 6 Barbie dolls, and no underwear.
perfect. That's what cancer does. All cancer wants to do is divide. It's not nefarious. It's not like some evil entity in your body. Cancer is just trying to divide and divide and divide and survive. It has one sole purpose. Now, your daughter, right, is packing for the trip. She's thinking about swimming and having fun, and her one goal, so she packed the stuff she wanted to go have fun on her vacation. She was focused on that. When cancer's packing for its trip, it just is this soul-focused thing. So its software gets screwed up, and it shuts off stuff, and it turns on other things, and it really just becomes very, very focused on its goal, which is to divide. And so its software gets reprogrammed in a way that's not good.
I've never heard someone describe cancer before as sort of it's just doing its thing. It just doesn't know any better. It's making bad choices.
It's making bad choices. I mean, I think, listen, it's this horrible thing that has affected so many of our lives. And I don't mean to make light of it, because it absolutely is a horrible thing that has affected my life and the life of so many people around us. But it really is just a cell that's just trying to divide. It's just making mistakes. It doesn't know what to do. And it doesn't know how to fix itself, and it's lost its way.
And maybe that's really what cancer treatment is. Finding ways to take these idiotic, selfish parts of your body that have lost their way and forgotten how to do the jobs they're supposed to be doing, and showing them a better path, either by removing them or re-educating them so that your body can be brought back into harmony with itself.
Wow. David, that was beautiful.
Well, thanks. I do my best. And we have a lot of different aspects of cancer to discuss in future episodes, don't we?
Oh my God, so many. We have research episodes and treatment and prevention and survivorship. We have so many amazing stories coming up.
So thank you for listening. We will be back twice a month with lots of new ways that you can be smarter than cancer.
Thanks for listening to Smarter Than Cancer, a production of Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center.
The show is written and produced by your hosts, Hajar Eldas and David Hoffman.
Production oversight by Peter Sosha.
Additional logistics and support from Michelle Eisenstein.
Our production partner for this series is Citizen Race Car.
Post-production by Gregory Schweitzer for DCP Entertainment.
Publication and promotion supervised by Candice Chanteloup. If you or your loved one has been diagnosed with cancer and would like to schedule an appointment with Roswell Park, please call 1-800-ROSWELL. That's 1-800-ROSWELL. Or visit us at roswellpark.org.
If you're enjoying this series, we'd love to hear from you. Please reach out and tell us about your cancer story, and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes by filling out the form at roswellpark.org/smarterthancancer.
And if you know someone else who might find value in what we're doing, please tell them about it. You can listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.